It was very, very common to go job hopping. Every couple of years, especially in the tech world, you'd get a new job and you get a pretty solid increase in your salary. This time around, I ain't doing that. AI, I got 2 kids, I'm job hugging.
So people aren't job hopping anymore, they're now job hugging. So what does that even mean? Well, instead of finding a new job so you can get a better pay increase or better benefits, people are now clinging on to their jobs because they're scared that they're not going to be able to find another one in this terrible job market. And as someone that owns a career consulting company and helps people find new jobs, I can tell you, yes, this job market is pretty terrible.
Can we be serious, guys? Now, I've done videos before on quiet quitting. I've done videos before on quiet firing. I've done videos recently, quiet cracking. I mean, let's be real. These terms are getting out of hand. They're getting really out of pocket. Okay, now that makes, you know what? As soon as he said job, it made the term job hugging sound much less stupid. And it's because I'm used to the term job hugging, as I'm sure a lot of you are, and we know what that is. And it makes sense now that you would call the opposite of it job hugging. Interesting how that works, because I was like, job hugging sounds so stupid, but it really makes a lot of sense.
Say goodbye to the Great Resignation. There's new data showing that more workers are staying put in their current jobs, making way for a new trend analysts are calling. It sounds so delightful. Job hugging.
Yeah, it sounds delightful.
I was going to say, but there's a little bit more to it.
Right.
No job hugging. No hugging on the job.
What do I say? This is an HR free zone. Kidding. Please continue.
Yeah. So it's known as job hugging, which, like you said, sounds good, but it's basically the fact that more and more workers are holding on to their jobs for dear life because they're worried that they're going to lose their job and they're less confident that they'll be able to get a new one. So look at this chart that shows job to job change rate and what you saw after 2020.
People that came up with these type of terms like job hugging are job hugging. I think they're scared to lose their job, and so they're creating these terms just to have something to write about. Can we be serious, guys? Now, I've done videos before on quiet quitting. I've done videos before on quiet firing. I've done videos recently, or if it may not have come out yet, I'm not sure which one I'll put out first, this one or that one, but quiet cracking. I mean, let's be real. These terms are getting out of hand. They're getting really out of pocket. And I think it's funny. That's why I had to do a video on this, because I just think these terms are just ridiculous at this point. Listen, why can't we just call things what they are? Why do we have to reinvent the wheel and all these fancy, these aren't fancy, all these corny names? Job hugging? You mean a tough job market to where you don't think you'll be able to get another job that's equal or better to what you currently have, and you're afraid that you might lose your job? So you're really trying to do your best to do what you can to keep it? That's job hugging? I guess it's easier to say it that way, but it's still kind of ridiculous. What do you think? You think it sounds stupid? I do.
After COVID, there was this skyrocketing where people were job hopping. They felt increasingly confident they could get a better job with a bigger paycheck, and they were willing to try that out. That was the Great Resignation, but that has come down very significantly. And the other thing that's come down is paychecks for people who do change jobs. So back in 2019, before COVID, a 10% increase on average for people who were job hopping. That skyrocketed to 20% plus during the Great Resignation. But look at this, it's come down to just 7% now, below the pre-COVID average.
So that's like the whole story right there, right?
It is. Yeah. In fact, some of the government data actually shows that the people who are changing jobs, their pay increases on average, it's the same as the people who are changing jobs. And
people who are staying in their jobs is the same as people changing jobs. Got
exactly. Right. The pay increase. And where is this happening in terms of job hugging? Where has it slowed down in terms of people changing? Bank of America said it's happening mostly in jobs where people get paid once a month. This tends to be white collar jobs, often in finance, in tech, also business and professional services, which includes everything from managers and lawyers to accountants as well. So why is this happening? Again, economists say this reflects a loss of confidence in the ability to get a better job. The University of Michigan has a survey out where they ask consumers whether or not they think that unemployment is going to go up over the next year. And back in November, just about 1 in 3 people said they were bracing for higher unemployment. So that was pretty low. But look at this. It has come all the way up to 60% now. That is the highest since the Great Recession. The other thing here, according to Bank of America, is we've seen a freeze in hiring in a number.
Okay, now that makes, you know what? As soon as he said job hopping, it made the term job hugging sound much less stupid to me. And it's because I'm used to the term job hopping, as I'm sure a lot of you are, and we know what that is. And it makes sense now that you would call the opposite of it job hugging. Huh. interesting how that works. Because I was like, job hugging sounds so stupid, but it really makes a lot of sense. And like he just said, like I might have mentioned in this video, when I first graduated college, the first, 3 jobs I had, I stayed at for maybe an average 1.5 years. And that's because each time I left that job for the next one, I got at least a 10%. Well, at one point I did a lateral move, but aside from that one, I think about no less than 5%, if anything, 10% or more increase in pay. Whereas if I had stayed at that company I was at and tried to work my way up that way, to get that 10% increase would have taken a long time. And so it was common to job hop, and in COVID it exploded. And so now there's a regression, there's a swing the other way. And as you just showed, the increase you're getting in pay, job hopping now is no longer as big as it used to be. So now people are job hugging, also because people were concerned about unemployment, as you can see by this graph. So it all does make a lot of sense, and the term sounds far less silly. Like I said, very interesting how that works. Yeah, so what do you guys think? What do you think about this job hugging thing? It's just another way to say people are uncomfortable with the idea of leaving their work because, number one, it's difficult to find another job. So if you were, unfortunately, let's say, God forbid, laid off or fired, to get another job could take a long time. That's number one. And number two, if you are gainfully employed, you don't want to leave where you're at now for a greener grass when that greener grass, again, might be hard to come by. And everything just seems such like limbo, like everything's in limbo. And people are kind of trying to feel it out and see what moves to make, which way to go. And things are very uncertain, a lot of uncertainty right now. So I understand why this whole job hugging thing is occurring. Makes perfect sense.
So people aren't job hopping anymore, they're now job hugging. So what does that even mean? Well, instead of finding a new job so you can get a better pay increase or better benefits, people are now clinging on to their jobs because they're scared that they're not going to be able to find another one in this terrible job market. And as someone that owns a career consulting company and helps people find new jobs, I can tell you, yes, this job market is pretty terrible. But people are getting hired. They're finding better opportunities when they sell their skills and achievements in a way that makes them stand out and makes them valuable to future employers. So if you're a job hugger right now because of fear of the job market, just know that you might be stifling your career. Instead, take this as an opportunity to start planning the next phase of your career. Start thinking about what it is that you want to do, things that you want to focus on, things that you don't like, and maybe where the gaps are. You can pick up new skills or certifications that will make you stand out and make you even more valuable when you're applying for that next career opportunity.
So I feel like she has good advice. I do feel like it's a bit generic, skill up, while you're doing this job hugging and you're staying in place and trying to hold on for dear life to your current role. Take the opportunity to gain some new skills, to gain some new knowledge that you can then use to leverage to get another job that you do want. And it makes a lot of sense. And I think that if you work a white collar job, that's very important because gone are the days where you can kind of just get by in a role that is kind of fluff because companies were over hiring and you don't really have to do that much. I think now, because of the way the economy is, those roles are few and far between. So now you really have to be worth your weight in salt. And people that are nervous are maybe the people that maybe know they are kind of in a position that might be on a chopping block or that may be unnecessary and they're kind of afraid that it'll be found out. So I think that she's spot on with skilling up. I think we should be lifelong learners, and especially as new technology develops, like AI, learn how to leverage AI. If you need to go back to school, you may not forget going back to school. Some people don't want to do that, and I get it. I don't want to go back to school, but you can still get certifications. You can do self-teaching and get, certified through online schools and things like that. So I do think that she's right in the sense that don't job hug out of fear and just white knuckle it, just hoping for the best. I think take this opportunity to better yourself. Absolutely.
So years ago, 10, 12 years ago, it was very, very common to go job hopping. Every couple of years, especially in the tech world, you'd get a new job and you get a pretty solid increase in your salary. This time around, I ain't doing that. AI, I got 2 kids. I'm job hugging. I don't know anybody right now, at least in my position, that's job hopping. We're holding on to our jobs tightly, loving, kissing it, cuddling with it every night. Every time my job needs a hug, I'm there, open arms, no issues at all. Long hugs, short hugs, whatever my job needs, I'm there for support. If my job has a bad day, has a good day, I'm there. Doesn't matter what's going on. I'm there to hug my job tightly, make sure it never leaves me. Are there other jobs out there that need a hug? Maybe, but it's not gonna come from me. I have my job. I only have 2 arms too, so I can't hug multiple jobs, just one.
All right, haha, this guy's hilarious. We get the point. He does raise a good point that depending on your stage of life, you might be more inclined or less inclined to job hug. If you're like him, who has a couple of kids, and a family to support, yeah, you might be hugging your job a little bit more in this economy. Whereas if you're a single person, no kids, no responsibilities, and you have the ability to weather the storm, so to speak, then maybe you won't hug the job so much. Maybe you won't hug it so tightly. Maybe you'll job hop even in this kind of economy. I wouldn't really do it, especially if you don't have something lined up. Maybe hop once you have that job secured and hug both, or hug the job and hop at the same time with the job, you know what I mean? But he makes a good point, and he was being funny, of course. Maybe he's making fun of the whole thing, I don't know, but I think he's being serious. He's basically saying, yeah, if you have something good, hold on to it, because especially for someone in his stage of life, you don't want to lose something. You know, what's the old adage? With the horse with the carrot in his mouth, and it drops the carrot in his mouth because he sees one in the reflection in the water, and now he has no carrots because he wanted two. Something like that. I think it makes sense. Anyway, that being said, guys, thanks for sticking around the video. Feel free to give it a like and to subscribe if you feel so inclined. And until next time, make smart financial decisions, which could be job hugging or job hopping. It all depends.